Imagine navigating one of life's biggest changes while also trying to figure out what to do with your most valuable asset, your home. It can feel overwhelming, can it not? Calculating a divorce home buyout amount involves determining the home's current market value, subtracting any outstanding mortgage and selling costs to find the equity, and then dividing that equity according to your divorce agreement. This process ensures a fair division of your shared property. The core principle behind this calculation is to equitably distribute the marital asset that is your home. Your home's equity represents the actual value that belongs to you and your spouse, after accounting for any debts tied to the property. This calculation ensures that both parties receive their fair share, even if one person keeps the house and refinances. Here is how you can approach this calculation step by step. First, establish the home's current fair market value. This is crucial. You can do this by hiring one or preferably two independent appraisers who will provide a professional valuation based on recent comparable sales in your area. An alternative is a comparative market analysis, often called a CMA, from a real estate agent, although an appraisal is generally more robust for legal purposes. Once you have a solid market value, your next step is to subtract any outstanding mortgage balances or home equity loans. This difference represents your home's gross equity. Now, here is a key consideration that many people overlook: potential costs of selling. Even if one spouse is buying out the other, you typically factor in hypothetical selling costs like real estate commissions, usually around 5 to 6%, and other closing costs, which can add another 1 to 2%. These costs, even if not actually incurred, are included because they representing the amount you would lose if the house were sold on the open market. Subtract these hypothetical selling costs from the gross equity to arrive at the net equity. Finally, you divide this net equity according to your marital property division agreement, which is often a 50-50 split, but can vary based on your state's laws or any prenuptial agreements. For example, if your home is valued at $500,000, with a $200,000 mortgage, your gross equity is $300,000. If estimated selling costs are 7%, or $35,000, your net equity becomes $265,000. If each party is entitled to 50%, the buyout amount would be $132,500. Consider how improvements made during the marriage might have increased the home's value. These jointly financed upgrades factor directly into the equity calculation. Also, be aware of separate property contributions. If one spouse used inheritance money, which is typically separate property, for a down payment or for significant improvements, they might be entitled to a credit for that contribution before the remaining equity is divided. This ensures fairness and acknowledges individual investments. It is vital to properly document these contributions. Understanding this structured approach to calculating a home buyout helps you navigate a potentially complex financial decision with clarity and confidence. By accurately assessing value, equity, and potential costs, you can ensure a fair resolution that allows both parties to move forward financially stable and ready for their next chapter. This knowledge empowers you to negotiate effectively and secure a balanced outcome for your future.